Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special council meeting. We acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and their elders past and present. I would like to advise everyone that the audio and video of this meeting is being live streamed to YouTube. I request everyone to please turn off your mobile phones. I remind you that audio recording of the meeting proceedings and photography within the chamber is prohibited unless prior approval has been granted, and councillors and city officers are reminded to disclose any declarations of financial interests and interest affecting impartiality, and are requested to activate their microphones when addressing the meeting. So with that, we turn to item 1, which is the declaration of opening. I declare the meeting open at 7:21 p.m. Disclaimer. Members of the public are cautioned against taking any action as a result of a council decision until such time as they've seen a copy of the minutes or been advised in writing by the council's administration with regard to any particular decision. That brings us to item 2, which is announcements from the presiding member. That's nil for this evening. Item 3 is attendances. Item 3.1 is apologies, and I have received an apology from Councillor Blake D'Souza. Item 3.2 is approved leaves of absence, of which there are nil for this evening. Item 4 is declarations of interest. Acting Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Anita Amprimo, has declared a financial interest in item 7.1.1 as I am currently the acting CEO, and any decision made by council relating to the matters considered in this item may affect me. Councillors, does anyone have any other declarations of interest that they'd like to make this evening? And that's a no. Okay. We move on to item 5, which is public question time. In accordance with Regulation 7 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996, all questions asked at this meeting must relate to the purpose of the meeting. I now open public question time at 7:23 p.m. We have not received any submissions prior to tonight's meeting. I'll just check with governance to see if there's any late questions in the tray. No, there's not. I now close public question time at 7:23 p.m. Item 6 is reports. That's nil for this evening. Item 7 is meeting closed to the public. So at this point, all right. Okay, I've just been corrected. We're going to consider in item 6, we're going to consider a notice of motion entitled Local Government Inspector, Request for Extension of the Local Government Monitor. Councillors, does everyone have a copy of that motion in front of them? I'll just give the monitor a moment to leave the room while councillor considers this item.
Get the motions up on the screen?
Yes.
Because were there some alterations made? Or?
I think we're just working on, is governance able to put that one up on the screen? All right, give us a moment and we'll get that organised. Okay, here we go. If we can scroll up so that we can see the entirety of the officer recommendation. I'll give everyone a moment just to read that. So I'm happy to move the officer recommendation, which is as follows: that council requests the acting chief executive officer to write to the local government inspector requesting that, paragraph A, an extension of the term of appointment of the local government monitor to the City of South Perth to 29 October 2026 inclusive, and paragraph B, a modification to the terms of appointment for the... I'll just take a moment with governance. Did I say 29th? Bad. Apologies, folks. It's been a long day. When I said 29th of October, I meant to say 19th of October, inclusive. Paragraph B is a modification to the terms of appointment for the monitoring assignment to provide a revised date in which the final report to the local government inspector is due and advise the City of South Perth accordingly. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Brenda Abrandis, thank you. Councillors, I don't have much to say. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. Councillor Brenda Abrandis, would you like to say anything as seconder?
Nothing further, Mr Mayor.
All right. Would anyone like to speak either for or against the item? No? In that case, Councillor Lees?
Can we get any indication of the ongoing cost, or is that confidential? Or
Ms Shaw?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The monitor is $900 per day.
Any further questions, or would you like to speak either way? Please proceed.
to me?
Of course.
Yeah, I have some concerns about continuing or requesting this extension based on the ongoing costs and whether there is value in extending the term of the inspector. She's given us, she's spent a fair bit of time with us. Over recent time, I'm not sure that, well, I probably shouldn't say that. Sorry. I just am not sure that it's good value for the ratepayers to increase this ongoing cost, because I think, or extend this ongoing cost. I think that a lot of what she's achieved is probably at the point where we don't need to extend it now.
Thank you for your comments. Would anyone else like to speak either for or against? Councillor Denton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to ask, it doesn't set out, unless on the following pages it's clearer, what we're trying to achieve in these additional months that hasn't been achieved to date. And if somebody could just advise us of that.
I guess I could talk to that since it's my motion. There were, and it's replicated in the reasons if we can scroll down onto the screen there. The local government monitor came in with a terms of reference that's available on the City of South Perth website. It's no secret, it's publicly available there. There are some elements that are now on the screen before us that, at least I think, but I'm happy for council to decide otherwise, might still hold value in going forwards over the next couple of months. But if council were to decide that, you know what, we've probably received the value, we've probably received the benefit, there's probably not an ongoing need, yeah, I will obviously defer to council's will.
So can you just address then specifically what you think the benefits will be, and if we were to vote against it, where that leaves us now? Does that leave the monitor finalising a report and publishing it, or where do we go from here?
Don't know about publishing. I don't know if it will be made publicly available. I'm getting indications from the administration that that's not the case. Yes, it goes to the local government inspector. At this stage, the monitor's final day is the 19th of August. At that point, or around that point, the monitor would conclude her report that goes to the local government inspector. There would be, I think, the finalisation of the action plan that's currently referred to in the public terms of reference, and that would be the net involvement from the monitor. I've brought this motion because I think that, without going into matters that might be confidential, the matters that you can see on the screen, which are the council's practices and processes in the relation to its post-appointment obligations to the Chief Executive Officer, the City's contemporary processes and practices in relation to monitoring, reviewing and eliminating worker health and safety risks, and the efficiency and effectiveness of the Chief Executive Officer's advice in relation to council decision-making functions at ordinary and special meetings. It may be that the work that the monitor has already done to date represents maybe the totality of the value that can be added at this stage. I wonder whether or not, at least for the next couple of months, it might be beneficial for the community to know that there's also independent state government oversight of council operations over the next couple of months, whether that's something that would give the community additional peace of mind.
Yes, I take your point, Mr. Mayor. I'm wondering if, because we're looking at a 2-month period here, do we break it down and say, in relation to points A, B and C, revisit it in a month's time and see whether or not those matters have been addressed sufficiently?
I have no objection to an amendment to change it from 2 months to 1 month. All right, Councillor Brenda Brandis, I'm happy to move an amendment that the period of 2 months gets reduced to 1 month. So let's see, that would take it to 19 September 2026 inclusive. Are you happy with that as seconder?
I have no objections, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Okay, so the substantive motion has been amended. At paragraph A, the date 19 October 2026 inclusive is now replaced with 19 September 2026 inclusive. Would anyone like to speak either for or against the amended motion? Nope. In that case, I'll put the item to the vote. Are we able to use the voting buttons? No, we're going to do it by hand. Okay. So all those in favour of the amended officer recommendation, please raise your hand. And that was unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Okay. We now move on to item 7.1, which is matters for which the meeting may be closed. We do have an agenda item that must be considered in closed session in accordance with section 5.23, subsection B, subsection 2, subsection B, so section 5.23, subsection 2, subsection B of the Local Government Act 1995, entitled item 7.1.1, Notice of Motion, Chief Executive Officer Arrangements. I'll move a motion that we go behind closed doors. Would someone please second that motion? Councillor David, thank you. Councillors, by show of hands, all those in favour of going behind closed doors? That was unanimous. Thank you, councillors. I'll give governance an opportunity to... All right, so for those who are listening via YouTube, we've just come out of closed session. Council has just voted on item 7.1.1 and the officer recommendation, which is that Council approves the terms contained in confidential attachment A regarding the Chief Executive Officer, was carried unanimously. All right, that brings us to item 8, which is closure. But before I close tonight's meeting, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and participation. Thank you all, and good night.